It's been a week and I'm still drawing. If you thought that I was going to give up, I did too. Here's where we left off. I drew this and I was kind of bragging about that. I did a lot more this week. There's a lot more to share. This was just kind of like warm-up stuff. Markowski, again. Mike is all about getting out of your head into your pencil. Oh yeah, I learned about a value scale, which is like shading and stuff. There are different versions of that apparently. There's like, you can't really see that, but they're like different. There's like hatching and cross hatching and stippling here, and I was trying to get like the gradient down, you know, from dark to light. Shading is super hard and super weird. I'm still kind of trying to get my head around that. You can see how I kind of made a few cubes. More shading and stuff using different methods for different, like that's one version, that's another. This one kind of looks almost okay. It's funny, you go back and you look at it and it doesn't look as bad as the day of. That's a giant sphere. That's a smaller one. That actually looks kind of nice. There's a little like drop shadow. I don't know if that's what that's actually called. That's what I'll call that. This one was focused around kind of centering multiple shapes in one image. We were drawing a lot of shapes and we wanted to kind of see what those would look like in space. This was supposed to be an exercise where you draw your hand that I didn't finish because I just didn't feel that excited and inspired by it. I was like, okay, I got the shape and some of the general lines down, but shading that doesn't seem fun, so I'm not gonna do that. This was a huge thing. This is like simple art stuff, but I didn't know about it. This whole 1-point perspective with a vanishing point here, and then you have a horizon line. This blew my mind. I was like, oh, that's how pictures do that thing. I won't go into detail with it because I don't know the details of it. I just know, generally speaking, what it does. And then you can see it actually displayed in this image. You have like a power line here. You have a couple buildings in a street. And that, I never drew anything like that before. All my images have usually been flat. So that was super exciting. And then using that vanishing point, we were able to kind of elaborate on our shape drawing. We were able to draw them at different angles and different distances. So yeah, perspective, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's definitely like, look at that. And I really hated all these perspective drawings when I was drawing them, but now looking back at them, I'm like, wow, that looks like a thing. I think this one was based on a Van Gogh or something. He kind of sped through a lot of these, and I was like trying my best to follow. I don't need to show every single one of these. And then this is the most recent one, and kind of where things were starting to come together. So like he started with stickmen, and then kind of like adding layers to that. And that was a big realization, was I finally understood why you want to start with basic shapes. It's to get the general gist and kind of construction, you know, the relative sizes of what your image is supposed to look like, and you can make changes on it, and then you can base everything around that, which makes sense saying it out loud. But before I was just like, why do I want to draw shapes? I just want to draw the whole thing. And then yeah, you have this elephant here, which is probably up until that point the best animal I'd ever drawn. I never fancied myself as someone who could draw, so animals were definitely a weak point. Look at that almost giraffe, kind of donkey, kind of mule. And yeah, we just started that with shapes and then, you know, built around it. And now we get to the part of the week that I'm actually proud of, is this. Now it looks kind of funny on camera, but there's a cat, which I was fine with, but then this tiger. Dang, that's got some, probably zoom in on that in post. That's got some character to it. That's looking like Shere Khan from Jungle Book. This isn't 100% what Mike drew. This was like, this has its own little bit of personality to it, which is cool. I don't love drawing environments and stuff, but getting into like drawing characters and things rather than, well, not things, living things rather than environmental objects is very exciting for me, because that leads to my ultimate goal of being able to draw anime. Which I'm only kind of joking about. So that's that week. Did shading, trying to get more comfortable with that. And yeah, just surprising myself that I actually stuck with this, because this is the longest I've like regularly drawn. And I'm gonna keep doing it because, I mean, let's look at like, I'm already like a quarter of the way through this sketchbook. I mean, look, this was the first day, and this was just like nothing. This was just like copying. I mean, I'm still copying stuff. Oh, that was another thing I was gonna say is I feel like my skills in copying things are getting good, but it's like learning a language where it's like if someone said something in English like, oh, that croissant has cheese in it and it looks very delicate and golden and flaky, you could like hear someone say that and then repeat it like, oh, that croissant looks like it's cheese filled and it looks very elegant and golden and flaky. It's easier to repeat things than to form them out of nothing, versus like right now the equivalent of that is like, I would, if I had to concoct that from my own mind, I'd be like croissant. I don't know how to draw original things yet, is basically what I'm trying to say. So I think I need to just kind of start doing that. Well, or no, I can just keep practicing, and eventually I'll be able to do the things that are in my head. That's all I really have to say. See what another week brings.